Well, here's an interesting comparison. We've got on one side Mywhoosh, a completely free indoor cycling app, which apparently will stay that way. And then we've got Zwift, on the other hand, the world's most popular indoor cycling app, but of course there's a monthly or an annual cost to that. So let's see how Mywhoosh stacks up against the market leader, Zwift. The promotional videos for both apps are certainly impressive, but let's dig into the detail and find out which one's going to be better for you. We're all set up, everything paired really easily, so let's see what it's actually like in real life and compare that to Zwift. It'll be very interesting to see how their implementation of virtual shifting works, bearing in mind that I've got the Zwift Ride, so I'm going to have to use their app to change gear. So you have to change within the app on your phone, so this means that I can't really utilize the hardware. Although one of the things that I'm looking to do in the future, probably not for this video, but I would imagine there'll be a second one coming out, is to look at how maybe we can find a workaround with that. I've read some information on the internet whereabouts you can use Bluetooth buttons, link them to your keyboard, and it will simulate the buttons that I have on the handlebars of the Zwift Ride. So that's something for later, but for now, let's use it in its native form, let's say, and see how that virtual shifting works. So we're all set up, ready to go. I've paired everything, my heart rate monitor, all of that was really straightforward. The next step is just to see whether or not I need to link into the virtual shifting from here. So as soon as I went into my link app on my phone, it's come up on the screen in the top right hand corner that that's also linked as well. So I'm assuming that means that virtual shifting can be done. It actually has on this screen to disable virtual shifting, which is interesting. It's got it as the default position. And of course you can see it's got secondary power source. I do have some pedals that I could put on to try, so maybe we'll do that. What I did was I imported my stats from Zwift into Mywhoosh, which is one of the features that it allows you to do, which I think is unique. And as a result of that, it would seem that it's put me up to level 11. So that's quite nice as a start, I suppose, you know, some kind of reward for doing miles on a different app. So I assume that if I go into me, there we go. So it's basically showing me, don't judge me, I've put a bit of weight on since I did the weight loss video. It's been my birthday, what can I tell you? Awards, nothing as you'd expect. Achievements, well, we're going to Whoosh Master 1 or whatever. We'll play around with all of this. And then stats, and you can see that this, you know, I had a quick sort of connect it up the other day, but it's showing my stats within the game, which is what I think you'd expect. Fine, okay, well, I mean, all of this, let's stop all this messing around, let's go for a ride. Group rides are the ultimate in cycling enjoyment. Come for a ride and explore the many and varied routes across Mywhoosh and use these events to engage with the community. So that sounds great. These rides are designed to be a social workout and great base for training and adding those. That starts in 16 minutes. So if it's similar to Zwift, I'm assuming that I could go into a free ride now, and let's pick Arabia and let's ride. Let's see what this is like, but I'm assuming that in 15 minutes time or so, it'll say, do you want to join the other group ride that I've just signed up for? And there you go, you can see at the bottom, it's got my ability to join the event when it comes up. So we'll just start cycling. So first thoughts, the graphics are nice. I mean, they're gamified a little bit like it is on Zwift. But in a very different style. So I keep on wanting to change gear here, but let's have a look now and go into the app. So I've got the app running now, which I'll put up on the screen. So if I want to change gear, you can see I'm in 16. I can go to 17 to 18, tap that twice. So there's ever such a slight delay when you tap it. So excuse the noise, I'm gonna have to put my fan on, it's warm already. So let's have a look around the UI. So at the bottom we've got the laps on. We've done 6% of the 12.3 kilometers, I assume that means at the bottom. Got my average pace, how many calories I've burned, gradient that I've gone up. And then at the top, laps time, heart rate, power, cadence. Yeah, all the stuff that you'd expect. Oh, and that's interesting. Down in the bottom right hand corner, underneath the gear icon, we've got the frames per second, the ping rate, so the speed that it's receiving the data from the server, and then the fact that the trainer's connected. So it feels quite weird not changing gear using the handlebars, but I think you could get used to it pretty quickly. So I wonder what we can change here then. Pull up an additional menu, cameras. So that's out in front. There I am. I do look amazing, it's true. Graphics are really nice, aren't they? I mean, I did a review a month or so ago about Ruby, and there's some real advocates for Ruby out there, and quite rightly. It's very different to Zwift, but there was a lot of comments about the user interface as you'd expect, and who preferred what. And of course, I guess you get the same with this. It's similar, put that back to that one, similar to Zwift in as much as it's you know, all simulated, whereas Ruby, as you know, is based on a video of real life roads and courses and routes and what have you. So I guess this could be similarly polarizing. Similarly polarizing, oh god. I guess this could be about the same in terms of reaction, because it's very different to Zwift, but I mean, to my eye, not in a bad way. Oh, I really hope that they find a way to integrate the Zwift Ride virtual shifting as they have done on Ruby. Fingers crossed. Looks like I can give people a ride on. We've got toast as usual. Fist bump. There you go, brother. Nice, I mean, the graphics are great, aren't they? Okay, so we'll join the group ride and then we'll see how that goes. If you're enjoying the content, please like the video, and if you want to see more and be notified when it comes up, then hit that subscribe button. And thanks as always for watching. Joining our event, uploading the old one, loading the world that we're going to, gives us a nice intro to the group ride. We'll leave that running so you can get the full experience. I imagine you watch this once and then always skip it, but anyhow. And away we go. It reset me back to gear 15 for the beginning. I'd say this is a sensibly paced group ride. So from a virtual shifting point of view, and it's really early days, but just initial thoughts, there's definitely a slight lag on the app, pressing between the gears. Let's try on the screen. The screen's instant. So if you're in a race environment, you probably have to use the keyboard. Not an issue for a group ride, of course, because most of the time you'll just stay in one gear and, you know, just kind of drop it down for a bit of a climb, maybe pop it up like now when you've lost the pack. So the graphics are quite nice when I'm putting my foot down. There we go. Back in touch. The hill saved my bacon. No tips from any of the other riders yet. That said, there's also not much group chat on Zwift unless you're on with people you know. 10 seconds to go. Let's see how this goes. It says that it's rated between different watts per kilogram. I'm not entirely sure. I assume it just puts me where it thinks I should be. Oh, wasn't paying attention. Let's go. For some reason I've lost my virtual shifting in the app, but anyhow. Well, the corners are interesting. It looks like we're going up a helter-skelter. Big cruise ship there. Oh, and that's the group that have just been in front of me. I'll hang on for the group behind, I think. It's lost its connection to link. I don't seem to be able to click it. I'm struggling to understand who I'm hanging on to. I think maybe it was the first group. But I'll cycle with Adam and Adrian, and then there's Henrik just behind us. So I think what might be missing is some kind of introductory, this is how it all works, tutorial. I couldn't see one when I logged in, it didn't offer me one, at least not obviously. I'll have another look and see if there is. But you get one with Ruby, it's very good. You get one with Zwift. And maybe that's the difference between paid for and not paid for, I don't know. But it's very early days, day one. We'll give it a bit more time before we draw our conclusions. But that's first impressions, let's say. Okay, so we're doing a Robo Pacer type ride. And I've joined the 3 kilowatt version of that. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of bots, quite a lot of bot-like looking riders. I can see the one that I'm meant to be following, so that's easy enough. And it looks like another real rider there just in front of me. So this is the equivalent of Robo Pacers. I imagine it's going to work in much the same way. I think I've joined the 3.3. I have Mason 3.3, there we go. If you like to ride with Robo Pacers in Zwift, you can get extra drops for your bike upgrades and stuff. But I think here it's just a way of training. But you've got to say, I mean, we're riding here through California and the graphics are great, aren't they? Really does look very nice. I wouldn't mind an ice cream. I better do some work and catch up. So just for an immediate comparison, I've jumped off Mywhoosh onto Zwift and joined a Robo Pacer. And you can see the difference in the graphics straight away. So again, personal opinion whether you like them more or less. But the one thing that's immediately noticeable is the number of riders on here. So Mywhoosh, for the Robo Pacer one that I tried, was really empty. And here you can see there's a bunch of people, and if you've got virtual shifting or you're into the Zwift ecosystem, then you'll miss that without question. It's much nicer to have it to hand, as of course it will be. But yeah, just you know, by contrast, I feel it's really hard to describe because it's all virtual. You're not with real people. There's no more chat going on, but it just feels more because there is more in terms of people, and it might be familiarity, and I can imagine there's comments aplenty coming when this video goes out, but you've got to go with how you feel, and this certainly feels nicer to me. But tomorrow I've registered for a race and we'll see how that compares. But first impressions on day one, I have to say that for free it's amazing. So when I go into events, there's this Whooshers ride which starts in 19 minutes, and when I click register it takes me to this page. I click register again and it takes me to a page whereabouts it doesn't seem to be. It just takes me to the Whoosh Championships and Race Club Finals. So that's a little bit strange. And just to check that I'm not missing anything, I've come into the app itself just to see here, and you can see that this is the one that I've joined later on. You can see again it's just got the details of what's coming up, but nowhere can you see how many people are attending in it. So if I click on that, we can see now that It's 2 laps of Sacco no Michi, gives you a little map, which is all very nice. You can see that there it's got 0 people. So if I look at this one, so there's 19 riding in this one. So this is a recovery and social group, but I'm not looking for that kind of thing today. I'm looking for a race. So Rampage Racing, let's have a look. Nobody on that one. Let's have a look. Pursuit of Yellow stage 3 doesn't really give me more information on what kind of event that is in terms of, is it a time trial or is it a race? I'm assuming it's a race. There's one other person in that at the moment. Crit racing, that's always a bit of fun, but again, nobody attending. After a few days of checking the races that were coming up, it was the same story, just basically nobody participating. And I thought to myself, this can't be right. So I did some more work on it. So I've been onto the Facebook group with Mywhoosh and posted a question, and that's whereabouts I've started to find out that there are people actually to race against. It's just not obvious in the Mywhoosh link app or indeed in the main app. So you can see here that I posted a question looking to do some races, but am I missing something? There doesn't seem to be anybody signed up in the races. I can't do the premium races as I have a kicker core and it isn't on the approved list, and I think I'm a Cat 1. So basically, for the professional races, if you like, whereabouts you can win some money if you perform well in them, there's 5 categories. Category 1 and 2, you have to have trainers that are above, let's say, you know, better than the kicker core that I've got. So like the kicker V5, V6, Tax Neo, what have you. Categories 3, 4, 5, the kicker core is a valid trainer to have, but on top of that, you also have to jump through some more hoops. So I thought I was excluded to start with because on my profile it says that I'm a Cat 1, but actually, as we see in this chat, that's just a holding category. So that in itself, for me, you know, if I hadn't done more research, I'd just go, oh, I can't do that. But it turns out that I won't be a category 1 with my weight and my FTP. I'm more likely going to be maybe a 3 or something along those lines. So potentially I could race. On top of that though, you also need a secondary power source. You have to do weight videos, you have to do, I think, videos of your equipment, you know, so there's some hoops that you have to jump through in order to do that sort of professional racing. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do that, I might try, but at the moment, all I really wanted to do was to just jump on and go and have a race. So in the Facebook group, it was really useful. Somebody else who's obviously a Mywhoosh user has said, hello, you can check out this website. So I hadn't come across this mywhooshinfo.com and see what events are well attended. And then I got this reply from Holly. So Holly basically said, there are live coaching sessions which are good fun, which I will have a look at and do look to be actually pretty good. But also, do you want to come and do a TTT with us? So I've just replied, yes. And Holly's come back to me and sent me a Discord channel chat. So on Mywhoosh Info, it gives you lots of different information. So this is a homepage. And as a result of Holly's post on Facebook, I've joined Full Speed Events on Discord server, and I've had a little bit of a chat this morning, and they do team time trials 4 times a week. So brilliant, love team time trials, so that's great. But from a racing point of view, you know, individually wise, and let me just say, the fact that there's clubs available on Mywhoosh I think is fantastic. So this can only help grow the platform. And actually, I think that is maybe one of the issues with Mywhoosh, is that there's not enough users on it, and how they encourage that, well, I'll leave that for their marketing guys to work it out, but that definitely needs to happen. But on here, if I have a look at events and results, I can see that these are the events that have already taken place, and yeah, people riding in them. So there's a disconnect between the front end of Mywhoosh, whereabouts it says we've got a race coming up, but there's nobody joining, and then what actually happens, whereabouts people have joined. And it seems that on the Facebook chat, everybody struggles with the same thing. So it's not a glitch in my system, it's just how it is. And I think it's something that Mywhoosh must fix, because if you're coming from Zwift and you like the racing and you jump into Mywhoosh, let's say your subscription is up for renewal, so you think you'll give it a try, and then you look at it and you want to race, it basically says there's nobody to race against. My question is, would the, let's say, normal user, i.e. somebody who's not doing a review for a video for YouTube, actually stick with it and delve in far enough to find out that actually there are people to race against, well, some people would and some people wouldn't. So inevitably they're using potential users through this. So therefore it needs to be fixed. That said, it's still not that easy, because if I go to future events and click this tab here, you can see that even on this site, because it's dragging its data through from Mywhoosh, I suppose, it basically says there's no riders, and I know there is because I've registered for one. It would seem, and the advice that I got in the Facebook group is try and pick the events that are more popular. So there's the Yellow Tour on at the moment, which is obviously linked to the Tour de France, same as they've got in Zwift and I'm sure in Rouvy. So they're quite well attended. So you can take a gamble, let's say, on your time and when you are going to go on your cycle setup, and there should be people there. Let's see. Well, we've done a little bit of a warm-up. Got not very long to go. In fact, if I go in, we've got 2 minutes 47 seconds. When I looked at this in the app, there was nobody attending. I can see in the picture that there's at least one other person in the race. So the link app has disconnected itself in between my workout and coming into this ride, so that's a bit frustrating. So I'm just going to restart it and see if it links up again. It does. So let's resume ride. And we've got 1 minute and 38. Ah, right, I've got it. So you have to tap on the circle within a circle, and now I'm hoping I can change gears, so let's try it. Yes, we can. So 28 seconds, let's see how we go. Well, that's a quick start. I don't think we're going to chase Lucio. So let's try and get into this group. There's only 3 of us. Right, let's see if I can hang with these 2 guys and make a race of it. Give the thumbs up. Okay. So it looks like Lucio is an A+ rider. Got myself and Dabby, who now have a 9-second gap to Nilton, and then from there it's pretty spread out. There's a group around 15 seconds behind us. In fact, that's a big group. So there is this lag on the virtual shifting, and obviously I have to take my eyes off the road, the virtual road, to be able to do it. I mean, it is doable. Obviously, the Zwift ride is built for Zwift, not for Mywhoosh. If I had a normal bike with normal gears, it'd be fine. But they are promoting virtual shifting Mywhoosh, so I think it's very valid to test their implementation of it. Let's just quickly look at the workouts. So I'm just going to go into this one here, and essentially this is just a shortish workout. It's got some intervals in it and what have you. It's got my FTP, it's in ERG mode. If I go into that button there, I can actually play around with the workout itself. So if I wanted to add in another zone 2 here, I can add it in. I can then, play around with the duration of that. So I just basically click on it and I can type in here that I want to do that for 2 minutes. and oh, I put in seconds. Oh, there you go. So I put in the number of seconds, so that makes sense. And then, you know, you can build your own workout really easily. So I need to add a title, which we'll just put as James Workout, and do that. It's been uploaded successfully. And then if I want to do that, I can load that into the game. I can pick whereabouts I want to do it. So I've got Colombia, Endurance Climb, California, Switzerland, Arabia, Australia, Belgium. Some of these are greyed out because they're not available today. So we'll pick one that's available today. So let's do Colombia. If we go around the screen, we can see in the top left-hand corner that we've got the plan for today. So we've got 5 minutes at 123 to 215 watts. You can see in the top middle, I'm doing 128 at the moment. It's set its gear for me. And yes, off we go. So we'll use this as a bit of a warm up for the event. So we won't actually finish it, but you'll be able to see how it goes. And you can see on the top, it's basically setting me where I need to be. So on the left hand side of the middle section at the top, it's telling me how many watts I should be doing. So it's slowly ramping me up. And in the middle, you can see how many watts I'm actually doing. So I'm keeping my cadence relatively consistent around 80 to 85. I'm not having to think about changing gear or anything. So it's working exactly as you'd expect an ERG workout to work in any other indoor cycling app. And the control with the trainer through the ERG mode, as you'd expect, is absolutely fantastic. No problems at all. So yes, ERG mode, workouts, build your own workout really easily. So after a week of using Mywhoosh, how does it stack up against Zwift? Well, I think you can separate it into categories. Some that it does really well, some that are exclusive in as much as they're not in Zwift, and some that I think need some improvement. So let's look at the stuff that it does really well. Well, ERG Workouts, fantastic. The ability to build your own so easily and so quickly, I think is great if that's what you want to do. And if you're the kind of rider who's looking to do a workout or get some exercise in by doing a Robobot pacer kind of activity, then Mywhoosh for free with its lovely graphics and its easy to use interface would be absolutely ideal for you. At the other end of the scale, they offer this Pro Elite Racing, whereabouts you can race for money. It is available in this and it's not available in Zwift. So you've kind of got the, I want to do some exercise and I want a nice environment to do it in, and if I can do it free of charge I will do, tick for Mywhoosh. And at the other end you've got this Pro Elite Racing, which you can do in that and actually win some money, so tick for Mywhoosh. The bit in the middle is whereabouts I think it loses quite a bit of ground to Zwift and to Ruby as well, I would say, and that's really linked to its user base. The racing you can do, and you saw that in the video. And in fact, I've joined a team and I will continue to use Mywhoosh. So this is, you know, a very positive thing on the basis that I already pay for Zwift, and I will continue to use Mywhoosh because I would like to explore that, and maybe in 6 months' time I'll do another video and an update and we'll see how it's progressed. But if you want to race, the race that I was in was multiple categories, as you saw. So by that I mean there was some Pro Elite riders in there, and then there was some, you know, of my standard expert, I think they called it, and then some various other groupings. So you ended up with this spread out field. In Zwift you can race within your category, and for most of the time there are more than enough people to race against who are of a similar standard to you. In that race that I did earlier, there was basically me and one other person at a similar standard, and had he not been racing, then I would have been on my own. So for what I would call a casual racer, in as much as I like to do the racing because that's the bit that I like to do because it keeps me fit and keeps me active and keeps me coming back, Mywhoosh doesn't really deliver on that at the moment. But that's not to say in the future that they will not. You know, if they can increase increase their user base, and I go back to my previous comment, you know, that's down to their marketing guys, then why not? But at the moment, it definitely doesn't. And I think there is, you know, a lot of users, you know, certainly probably everybody that follows this channel, who are really into that racing side of it. And I don't think Mywhoosh is ready for that just yet. And then of course we should mention the setup of Mywhoosh. I don't want to get into any political debates or anything along those lines, but there is a lot online about sports washing and, you know, putting a lot of money into it and almost buying other people out of the genre and all of this kind of thing. And, you know, you can take a view on that, and I'm sure many of you have got a view. Like I say, I don't particularly want to get into that in this video, but it is something that perhaps you would want to consider if you feel that that affects you. But for me, I'm just purely looking if it's a good application to use for indoor cycling or it isn't. So with all that said, I think it's a good product. I will continue to use it alongside Zwift, but I won't be using it for the racing other than with this team that I've joined and maybe some TTT races. But I will keep an eye on it, and if it progresses, well then who knows. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Some of you will have used Mywhoosh for a lot longer than I have. I will continue to use it, and therefore if you've got any tips or anything that I've missed, then please let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.